Hello nerds, today is February the 7th, 2019, and that means it is game 38 of the meditation games. Today's game was created by Torstein and Dan Wakefield. I'll just read the blurb out for you now. Bonfire of the Vanities. The public burning of items deemed by authorities to be objectionable. The phrase most often refers to an event on the 7th of February 1497, where followers of the Dominican friar Girolamo Savonarola burned thousands of items he considered decadent or sinful, from books, modern and ancient art, and irreplaceable manuscripts to cosmetics, musical instruments, and even mirrors. This was not the first time in history, nor the last, that such an event took place. The burning of Chinese scholars and their works under the Qin dynasty 213 BC, and the burning of the Library of Baghdad in 1258. The Nazi Party ordering books by socialist, communist and Jewish authors to be burned in the 1930s, and the destruction of ancient architecture and treasures deemed un-Islamic by ISIS or ISIL can be described as bonfires of the vanities. There is little evidence to suggest the purification of culture these bonfires attempt to achieve has ever been successful, but it is always tragic nonetheless. So this is actually quite a serious topic. I've actually done a little bit of research on these things. I've actually been scripting a series of videos that go into the real history of the people you work with or assassinate in Assassin's Creed, just to see how accurate the representation of the person in the game was compared to their historical counterpart. In short, not very. But one of the ones that interested me, I do not remember his name, I've got it written down, was in the first Assassin's Creed game. There's a guy who is inciting people to burn books and all sorts. And I thought, oh wow, book burning, that's got to be a very iconic thing to pick out from that day. You know, there must be a historical record of it. Turns out it may not have actually happened, so that's kind of weird. Anyway, let's actually have a look at the game. Made with Unity. Okay, it actually looks fantastic. Fair dues. That's one hell of an eye-catching art style, colour composition, everything. That looks fantastic. Okay, can I click things? Oh god! I don't feel good about that. Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's haunting. No, none of the other buttons do anything. Is the camera... I think the camera's panning... Yeah, the camera's panning out. Fucking hell. It's getting to be one big fire. Let's have another look. So yeah, okay, it's not exactly really zoomed in, but it's still closer up, a smaller fire. And as we burn the books, the camera starts to move out. And all these things either side, I assume, are they boxes full of books, but I think it's more symbolic of the culture, the history, all that kind of stuff, that these people are throwing into the fire. And the fire is getting enormous, and it gets ever bigger. But, and I think what he mentions in his blurb, and I think this illustrates, these have never been successful. I don't know if that's 100% true. I'm going to have another look through that. I'm not certain, but I think the fact is it's not very successful no matter which way you shake it. And the fact that the fire just gets so large and almost so uncontrollable looking, but the camera zooms out, it's just showing all that culture, all that history, and all those things still stockpiled far behind what these people can pull one book at a time and throw onto that fire, I think is symbolic of the idea that you can never really, no matter how much harm you do, you can't destroy that. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I'm right. That's the kind of that's what it presented to me either way. So having a quick look just to kind of so I had a quick look just to satisfy that niggling question I had sitting in my brain. It doesn't seem like any recorded book burnings have had any long-term success or any immediate success really in eliminating a culture. That certainly harmed it, but it's always recovered. But that said, one thought that did cross my mind was, I imagine if there was a successful one, there probably wouldn't be any written record of it. So we may not ever know if there ever has been a successful one, but no, stands to reason that it hasn't succeeded. And there's a lot of very good reasons for that, I feel, but this isn't a history lesson, is it? We're talking about games here. So today's meditation was a slightly different flavour today, and one I actually quite enjoy. I really love history and reading about history and learning about history. I'm not too hot at it, but but I do enjoy it. It's an enormous interest of mine. And I love having a little game that references something of immense interest to me. The subject of book burning is a very interesting one. It is very much one force's attempt to completely wipe out another force, to wipe out their culture, to wipe out their identity, or to wipe out certain schools of thought. I can understand it can sound a bit daft, just burning books, whatever, but it's surprising how important it is and how impactful it is and how significant these activities are. I'll leave a little link below to Wikipedia. It's a good taster to sort of get started if it's something you're interested in delving into. And I do recommend it. It's very interesting, and I think it's actually quite relevant to a lot of things that are going on in the modern world. Well, it's been happening in the modern world, so it's definitely worth reading up on and learning a bit about it. So a huge thank you to Torstein and Dan for making today's game, and a special tip of the hat to the visual style, the graphics and the presentation. That was a very good looking game, very emotive, very evocative. It was cool. I really liked the visual presentation of it. I thought it was excellent. I'll leave links to their Twitter handles below. Both of them were involved in the creation of a game called Through the Woods, which I've heard of. I can't remember if I've played it. I'll have to have another look. So thank you to them, and thank you for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.